This is week 1, and the theme is identity. And so we really want to work with that concept of being grounded and rooted in who you are, but also using that foundation as the flexibility to expand out beyond our comfort zone, maybe. So we'll start by taking a few deep breaths. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, sit however is right for you. I'm sitting up on a block, so if you have a yoga block, maybe a blanket handy, we might use those during the practice. Close your eyes and just find your breath. So one of the suggestions this week is that you create your own creed, a very simple definition of who you are and your purpose in the world. If there's some phrase or word in your creed that stands out, or your identity, some word centered around that, you might want to set it as your intention. Check in and notice how your body feels, extending the spine, softening the shoulders. And we will begin to move. So coming onto all fours. Spread the fingers wide. And then simply go into some cat-cow, moving with the breath. So on an inhale, gently arching, maybe softening the limbs and then pushing into your hands. And then exhaling, softening the elbows, starting at the pelvis and hollowing out, let your head drop. Do that a few more times. Even paying attention to your feet and how are they grounded. You could curl your toes under for a nice stretch. One more. So maybe adding that ocean sound or ujjayi breath. Come on back to neutral, soften the feet, and rock your hips back to child's pose. Your big toes are together, your knees are a little bit wider than hip width apart as you drop your head to the mat. So our first real grounding, knowing that you can always come back to this pose at any time. One more deep inhale and exhale. And then inhaling up to all fours, we're going to begin to grow the flow. So you're going to take one hand about a hand length in front of your shoulders, bring the other hand to meet it, then inhale your shoulders back over your wrists. So we're in a modified plank. Exhaling, chaturanga. Try and get your hips down last. Push the tops of the feet into the mat. Draw the hands a little closer to the waist and inhale, cobra. And take a breath here. Your next exhale, bring your forehead back to the mat. On your inhale, reverse your push-up, squeezing your elbows in, hips up first. Curling toes under again, and then exhaling into downward dog. So maybe walking your dog here a little bit if it feels good. Check in and make sure your fingers are still spread wide. And then come on back to stillness. Squeeze your upper arms toward your ears. Let your head hang in between. Soften your knees, but drop your heels toward the mat. Feeling the same weight grounded between your feet and your hands. On an inhale, lift your left leg. And exhale, put it down. So flying the leg up even as your body remains firm. And exhale it down. And then soften the knees and hover right over the mat. Good. Inhaling, lift the hips back to the sky. Inhaling, soften the knees. Exhaling, soften the knees. Walk your feet to meet your hands. So it's always helpful to have a block. Makes your arms longer. And then fold into your forward fold. Backs of the knees are a little bit soft. Hold elbow to elbow and sway a little bit. Allowing your lower body really to get weighty. Excuse me. And then your next inhale, you release your fingertips, sweep them up your shins. Take a couple breaths here. And half forward fold, drawing those shoulder blades toward the waist. Drop your tailbone toward your heels. Exhaling. Fold again deeply. Inhaling, arms to the sky. And exhaling, hands to the heart. So let's check in with our Tadasana, right? Really the foundation of our practice. So I'm going to work with my feet about 2 fist widths apart, tucking my heels behind me so I can't see them. Lift the toes, spread them wide, and then keep them spread as you drop them back down, and you'll notice how that draws the ball of the foot and the heel together and firms up the legs. Think about rotating the thigh bone slightly inward and dropping the tailbone. And you can feel why this is called mountain pose. If I came and tried to push you over, you'd be firm, firm, firm. Inhaling your arms to the sky. Feel your fingertips reaching up high as your upper arms draw back by your ears. And then exhale your hands to your heart. So that's the foundation we want to come back to. And we're going to do some sun salutations, so back to the front of your mat. And just move with your breath, inhaling arms to the sky. Exhaling, soften the elbows, swan dive forward like a rag doll. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhaling, bend the knees, take the left leg back in high lunge. We're going to stay here for a breath, just feeling the body get long. And then inhaling, plank. We'll stay here for a breath. Feeling the body rooted. So you could float your knees down, or you could stay on your toes. Your next exhale brings you down to the mat, hopefully hips down last, right? And then make those legs nice and firm as you gently inhale, cobra, back bend. Exhaling, forehead to the mat. We're going to come back to a child's pose, so lifting the hips and rocking back to child's pose just for a breath. Then inhale, transition, curl the toes under, and exhale, downward dog. You see if you reach your arms way forward in child's pose, you don't have to move your hands. Your hands and your feet are in the right place. So inhaling back to plank, same thing. Hands and feet are in the right place. Exhale, back to downward dog. Inhale, lift that left leg to the sky. Exhaling, pull the knee toward the nose and either float the back knee down so that you can get into a high lunge again, or just sweep the foot forward and take a breath. And exhale, back to that deep forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Spine is long. Exhaling, fold again. Inhaling, arms to the sky. And exhale, hands to the heart. Keep on moving. Inhale, arms to the sky. Soften, exhale, diving forward. We'll do the same thing with the other leg. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, bend the knee, right leg back in high lunge. We stay here for a breath. Inhale, plank, feeling rooted. Exhale, chaturanga. Maybe you want to go to up dog this time. Inhaling, coming onto the tops of your feet and your hands. And we'll exhale right to downward dog. Good. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, put it down. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, put it down. Inhale deeply. Exhale, hover. The knees right over the mat. Inhaling, hips back to the sky. Puff that chest toward the thighs. Then inhale the right leg again. Exhale, pull the knee toward the nose. Plant that foot in high lunge. Knee over the ankle, take a breath. Inhaling, forward fold on the exhale. Inhale, halfway up. Exhaling, folding forward deeply. Inhaling, arms to the sky. And exhaling, hands to your heart. Nice. So coming back to Tadasana, another foundational pose, right, where we can be rooted in the lower body and nice and light and free in the upper body, tree pose. So you're going to decide where you want to put your foot. I'm standing on my right leg, doesn't matter which leg you stand on. You could do it in the calf, or you could raise it up to the inner thigh. Just don't push into the knee joint, right? Find one point to focus on, and maybe grow your tree. Maybe come back to that intention that you set around being rooted in your identity. And exhaling right back to Tadasana. Take a breath. Maybe shift the weight. And we'll go right to the other side. Finding your drishti, your focal point. Staying nice and light, grounded, yet open. And exhaling, gently release. Okay, we're going to go into chair pose. I'm going to work with my big toes together. Some people like to keep their feet 2 fist widths apart. If your big toes are together, give your heels about 1 inch apart. Wiggle your toes and sit down into that imaginary chair. So you might feel this in your lower legs. On an exhale, you're going to go a little deeper so that we can twist. So pull your low belly in, keep your knees squeezed together, and root one arm outside the thigh. If you can't get to the elbow, just use the forearm. And then spread your elbows like wings and push into your palms. Keep tucking that tailbone. Soften your gaze. And keep your spine long. Exhaling, gently release right back to that deep forward fold. You're going to inhale halfway up. Exhale, fold again. Sweep your arms to the sky. And exhale your hands to your heart. Take a breath. So we can go to the other side, wiggle the toes. Sit down in your imaginary chair. And then dropping into our twist. Push your palms together. Using that core, washing out the organs. Exhaling, gently release, deep forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, arms to the sky. And exhaling, hands to your heart. So now we're going to combine that chair pose with a one-legged balance and a little bit of a forward fold. So you're going to shift your weight into that first leg, perhaps your right leg. You're going to lift your knees straight up, cross it over your thigh, and then start to sit down in your imaginary chair. So all your weight's in the heel. Again, using your focal point and maybe starting to fold forward, resting your hands on your knee and your ankle. So you get a nice deep stretch in the back of that hip. Beautiful. And gently release. Come on back up and walk it out. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So Root your standing leg, lift the other knee, cross it over, and sit into your heel. Spine is super long, right? And tailbone still tucked. And then resting the hands on the leg so you can go a little deeper. So if you fall, no big deal, right? It's just a practice. You're going to get out in the world and stretch yourself to serve others. It's not always going to go perfectly. We just do our best. And gently release. Okay, we're going to bring ourselves back down to the floor. So inhaling, arms to the sky. Exhaling, soften and dive. Keep on moving. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhaling, taking yourself to the top of the push-up. You could hop if you like, or step. And we're here for 3 deep breaths. Spread those shoulder blades wide. And on your exhale, float the knees down. Take them a little bit wider than hip width apart. And come on back to child's pose. Allowing your forehead to root into the mat. Good, and then inhaling, come on back up. We're going to come to seated and finish with Janu Sirsasana, or the one-legged forward fold. So hips are level, one foot's on the inner thigh, the extended leg is right out in front of you. You're going to rotate your rib cage toward that thigh. So if your hamstrings are tight, you can also always grab hold of a strap or see, I'm going to go this way so you can see me. Hold of a strap or a necktie. Try and keep your spine as long as you can as you rotate toward that leg and then start to walk yourself forward. Toes are drawing back toward the knee. Maybe you grab hold of your toes. Using those exhales to go a little bit deeper. Maybe even rotating more toward that extended leg. Forward folds are great for the parasympathetic nervous system and giving us that grounded feeling. And exhaling, gently release. Inhaling, remembering that transitions are important, pay attention. So in true paradoxical style, we're going to take a counter pose, inhaling, coming up onto your knee, rooting that extended foot, opening up your chest and your heart. And exhaling, gently release. And we'll go to the other side. So extended leg right out in front of you, rotate towards it, and then start to bring yourself forward. Toes to the sky, and settle in. Soften that bent leg. Maybe come back to that word or intention you set. Slowly and gently pull your belly in and come on back up. And again, giving yourself the opportunity to get light and fly. Come onto that knee. If it's okay with you, plant your extended foot. Get long and light. And exhaling, gently release. Go ahead and extend both legs out, plant your feet, bend your knees. And with control, pull your belly in and roll yourself back down onto your back. Tuck your shoulder blades together. If it's okay with your spine, stretch your legs out, let your toes flop open. Palms are facing up, slightly away from you. And just begin to follow your breath. perhaps you'll be able to let it go and just be fully present and alert. Nothing to do or think about until you hear my voice again. So as you begin to get moving again, feel the back of your neck long and wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then maybe it would feel good to take your arms out to the side, opening up the chest once again, bending the knees, and gently windshield wiping your feet. I'm sorry, your knees, your feet are rooted. And then rolling your knees to the front side, gently pushing yourself up to seated, maybe even keeping your eyes closed. Again, sitting however is comfortable for you, with the spine long. Turn your palms facing up. Inhale deeply. Remember to be yourself, because everyone else is already taken. Your next inhale, bring your hands together, your heart center. Bowing your head to yourself for showing up on the mat so that you can take care of other people. It's a journey. I look forward to continuing it with you. Godspeed. Namaste.